Hi, welcome to or welcome back to 4F Beauty. When will I be YouTube famous? No one has been able to give me an answer to this yet. Today I'm doing two videos for you. One of them is a foundation review for the foundation I'm currently wearing, which is, it's not available in the UK yet, I had to order it from America. It's the Beauty Bakerie Cake Mix Foundation. And I had a bit of a surprise when I opened the box that this came in. So if you want to find out what that surprise is, you're just going to have to watch this video and find out. So grab a drink, grab a snack, because here comes the review. Hey, welcome back from the intro. Beauty Bakerie have launched their new foundation called Cake Mix, and I ordered it. I couldn't wait for it to come to the UK, so I ordered it from America, $28 plus shipping, and then because of course it was over the 15 quid when it arrived, I then had to pay £5 import tax and an £8 handling fee from the Royal Mail, even though you pay it all online. Just don't even get me started on that. But it arrived this morning and I've just opened it and I am shocked. Came with this card which says, because what's a party without a surprise? Hey sweetie, we know that finding the perfect foundation shade online can be tricky, so to make the experience a little sweeter for your first foundation order, we're also gifting you the next closest match to the shade you chose and a blending egg to help you get that perfect baked beat. Because we love our sweets and you trusted us to help you make your decision, all of us at Beauty Bakery spent countless hours cooking up the perfect mix for you, and now it's time for you to enjoy. XOXO the cake team. If you love them, they're both yours to keep. If you don't need one of them, sweeten the life of someone you love by giving them the shade that doesn't work for you. And if neither shade works, send both back for a refund of your original purchase. So I ordered, how cute is this packaging? Just look at this, look. I ordered shade 59. Okay. Which is the lightest one they do. And they also sent me shade 57. And one of their blending sponges. It's not often I'm lost for words. This appears to be one of those occasions. So let's see which one's my closest shade match. I genuinely, that is such a fantastic customer service. It really is. Our Cake Mix is an oil-free demi-matte foundation that offers medium to full coverage with a lightweight texture. Your skin will look and feel natural. Vitamins A, C and E are infused to make sure that your baked beat will be a healthy one. For more of a matte finish, you can set your foundation with our flour setting powder. Let's give this a shake. Lovely pump. I do like to see a nice pump. Right, let's just... Actually, where's my little... Let me get my usual, which is my Pokemon phone case. And let's pump the ones that work. Come on. Come on, Beauty Baker, I've just been saying how good you are. Don't do me wrong with a bad pump here. Okay, for the minute, I'm just going to undo it and get a little bit on my finger, otherwise we're going to be here all morning. Alright, let's zoom in a minute. That's 59, which is looking pretty good, I've got to say. Let's try 57. I'll just do the same again for the minute. Just stick a little bit of 57 there. Okay, that's weird. 57 is lighter than 59. How am I using 59 now? What number are you? Very tiny. 57. Right, I'm going to leave those on there for the minute while I go and wet that beauty egg. And then that will give that a little bit of time for me to decide which colour looks closest, and I can make sure whichever one I'm going to use has got a working pump. So I'm going to pause you, I'm going to go and wet, just hold this against my eye. You can see it goes basically from the bottom of my dark circle to my eyebrow, so we can see how much this grows. I will be straight back. I am back. And we can see the beauty egg has indeed grown, and it's very bouncy. Okay, now of the two, although 59 is actually the lightest shade they do, because their darkest one starts at 1 and runs through to the lightest being the higher numbers rather than the other way around. I think with the undertones of it, I think that's a little bit too pink for me. So I think I'm going to go for 57 because that's slightly more neutral. And 57's pump worked, and as you can see, it's quite a thick consistency. Now, when I saw Jackie Ina use it, I know she actually found that it dried very quickly once you started spreading it out. So I'm not going to dab it all over my face and then start blending it out. I'm going to pop it onto the sponge, pick it up with the sponge, and just apply it section by section. Now, Beauty Bakerie do sell what they call a wake and bake oil, which can be used for all skin tones, including greasy, which they recommend if you have got normal to dry skin that you do use an oil because of the formulation of the foundation. So, along with my usual moisturiser that I go for, with the SPF in that I always use, I've actually got a caffeine and green tea oil, so I've popped some of that on around my eyes, and I've put argan oil on forehead and cheeks where I get dry. And you've just seen me prime it with this, which regular viewers will know, chronic pain and side effects of medication for the chronic pain gives me quite a sweaty face, so I have to use an antiperspirant, but that does actually work really well as a primer. And the reason I'm chatting is because I want to give that a bit of time just to soak in, which it has. So now I'm going to give this a go. And it says to pat and stipple, not swipe. Feels quite nice as it's going on, very lightweight. I normally have sponges with flat sides. I'm finding this a little bit weird with a bumpy bottom on my sponge. Well, I suppose I've got quite a bumpy bottom myself, so. Really sorry if you can hear my neighbours shouting at each other. They don't seem to converse in normal volumes like most of us do. Obviously I'm putting this on just a thin layer at the moment. I'm going to go in with the pointed end to get into these bits here, and then the bumpy bottom bit across my eyeball again, because as you all know I don't use a separate eye primer, I just carry my antiperspirant stroke primer across my eyelids, take my foundation across it and my concealer, and that normally does me fine. It definitely does dry quickly, you do need to work in sections. I'm just going to have, where have I got a little close-up mirror that I can use? Let me grab one of my, I don't want to use a big mirror because then it'll block the view where you're zoomed in. Let me have a look in one of my Jeffrey Skin Frost. See, I'm having the same problem Jackie Ina did, in that it's, if I zoom you in a little bit, it's kind of settling in patches. So I'm going to pump a little bit more out, and I'm going to try a tart brush just to see if I'm just not getting on with that blender. So let's try stippling this on. No, that's making it worse. Right, okay, I'm going to stop, I'm going to take this back off, I'm going to go and get my oil, I'm going to reapply my oil because I put it on about an hour ago, so, and then I'll come back and I will try again. Please don't go anywhere. Okay, let's start this again. Got my caffeine oil. Let's put some of this on. Even if you have greasy skin, you can use oils. Technically our skin's greasy because it's too dry, so it's producing more of its own natural oils to try and compensate. So using an oil will not make your skin more greasy. So I have experimented on the back of my hand here by swirling with this tart brush. And although it says to stipple, I know the skin on my face is very different from the skin on my hand, but I've actually got a reasonable disbursement of the. I'm not going to put my usual base on because initially I just want to make sure I get this on and looking good. So we will try again. I have pumped out a wee bit more. Let's see whether this will go on if I swirl it. Not going to lie, folks, I'm finding this very challenging. But I'm going to leave it in the video because I think it's important to see when things don't go right first time. It does feel very nice and lightweight though on the skin for a heavier coverage foundation. Let's see if I can build a bit of coverage up here by stippling some extra over the top. Something I have noticed that it's doing is when you're stippling like this, you need to be very careful because it can lift what you've already put down. I'm really struggling to get it to look good on my nose. But, once I've got concealer and powder on and stuff, we'll see how it looks. I'm just stippling now without anything extra on the brush, so I'm just okay. Well, I think that's gonna be about as good as I'm going to be able to get this. At least now, this is obviously going to take a little bit of practicing with to establish the best way to get it on. I will try again with different brushes, different sponges, but obviously I want to do a wear time test on this, so you need to know what the time is, don't you? And it is just gone 1. So we'll call 1 o'clock our check-in time. I'm just using a face wipe to clean the brush off, because regular viewers will know if I use a cream on any of my brushes, I always clean them off straight away. Partly because it extends the life of the brush, partly because then if I want to use the brush again tomorrow I can, and there's no sort of cross-contamination from the product I was using the previous day, but mainly because when it's time to do your deep clean, it's so much easier to clean that than it is to clean it when it's got dried on foundation on it. Right, so I am going to pause you here, and then I am going to go away and I'm going to put some colour onto my face, and I will come back looking far more colourful. See you just after this fadey, dissolvey kind of bit. Hey, I'm back. As you can see, much more colourful. I kind of went a little bit mermaidy today. I used Revolution Mermaid Heart eyeshadows, and I topped it with this Barry, they call it holographic eyeshadow topper. It's not, it's iridescent, in shade Asteroid. If my camera will focus, thank you, do your job, well done. Base products I set my face with the Revolution Lace Powder, Winky Lux Coffee Latte Bronzer, L'Oreal Life's a Peach Blush. I used the new Revolution Flicks Liner and the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes mascara, and I used a Glacier from the Jeffree Platinum palette to continue my blue and purple theme. So there we go. It's this makeup has been on now for about 3/4 of an hour, so obviously at the moment it still looks absolutely fine. It doesn't appear to have oxidised. I'm not going a different colour to my neck, which is always nice to know. It was one of those foundations that dried down so well. I could have put powder products on top without setting it, but because in all of my foundation reviews I always set it, I have set this one as well. This one is going to be at a disadvantage because obviously where I had to put it on straight after putting face oil on in order to get it to not be streaky, haven't actually used my usual antiperspirant primer, so we will see what happens. It's not that hot today here, thankfully. It's raining, and I'm having a nice Netflix and chill day with the hubby, yay! So I'm not going to be rushing around getting all hot and bothered, so we'll see how this copes. I will, as ever, do my 2 check-ins for you so you can see how this foundation wears on my 44-year-old oily combo skin. And I got a few hours to go now before the first check-in, but you're going to see it right now. Hey, it is just gone 6 o'clock, which means this has been on for 5 hours. So it's time for check-in number 1. Let's have a zoom in, see how it's doing. Split in that crease there and there. Still looking nice and hydrated under that eye. This eye has been, that my hay fever's playing up, so you need to ignore this because my eye has been running something terrible today, and I don't know any foundation that could cope with that. So we'll look at this eye instead. It's caked a bit round the nose, but then that is where I added the extra coverage. And the end there's wearing off, but again with the hay fever I've been, dabbing my nose quite a bit. It's settled a bit into these smile lines, but again that's where I built it up, so apart from that it's doing really well. Let's zoom back out again. Sorry if the lighting's a bit weird at the moment, it's My white balance seems to be having issues catching up. It's probably my highlighter just blinding everybody. Right, okay, so first check in. It has worn off here where my eye's been running. That's no surprise. Where I had built it up, so a thicker layer, it has settled in creases, but areas where I hadn't built it up, it's still looking fine. Okay, that's about all I can report for the moment. I will be back again for myself in a few hours' time. For you, right now. Hey, excuse me. Okay, I'm guessing you're a little bit confused right now because you're expecting the final check-in. Well, I'm having to do a do-over because the day that I originally tried the foundation, I ended up having a coughing fit in the evening and tears streaming down my face, just completely ruined the whole makeup, so it wasn't fair to do a check-in under those circumstances. So I'm going to do a do-over, and because obviously on the first check-in it was starting to look a bit cakey, I'm going to try a different method of application and a different brush and just see if that makes any difference at all. So I have washed my face. I'm going to show you exactly the steps that I take now. I'm going to start off with my face cream, which has got SPF 15 in it, and it's a lightweight cream for normal oily skin basically, and it's what I use every day on my face, every morning anyway. The SPF is enough to give protection to my face, but thankfully doesn't seem to cause any flashback in flash photography, which is good. So I'm going to dry that off a wee bit. I'm being very Peter Man again. I want to get one of his fans with "Bye Felicia" on it, especially for my haters. Right, I'm now going to go in with some of this because I do have to go out later. And this foundation isn't going to be much good to me if I can't wear this underneath it, because chronic pain and side effects of chronic pain means that I do get a very sweaty face, and this is about the only thing that will help keep makeup on through the day for me. And if this foundation, if I can get it to look good and stay looking good, it could very well be the foundation that I wear to my brother's wedding. So it's important that it looks good and that I can use the anti-sweat thing underneath it. Give that a bit of a dry off. So again, I'm going in with Cake Mix in shade, I don't know if my camera's going to focus on that. Is it going to focus? Is it? Can you see that shade 57? I hope you can. Again, I'm just drying the thing off so it's just a little bit tacky. And give this a shake. And pump it onto my Pokemon phone case. And now I'm going to go in with this Avon brush, which is the same shape as the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, or Expert Face Base Brush. Let's zoom you in a little bit. But it's a bit softer. I'm really upset that Avon have stopped selling this. I hope it's going to be coming back, and this time rather than dipping the brush in and going in, I'm just going to dot some of the foundation on my face. And yes, I know it said stipple, but that really wasn't working for me. So I'm going to try really, really light, feathery, barely even touching my skin movements to blend it in. And this is not the way that I normally apply foundation, but where I was having so much trouble applying it first day and getting it non-streaky and not lifting back up again, I watched quite a few videos online, and the majority of the people were doing this with it. So I thought, okay, I would try the same thing. And see if it works. I'm really pushing it into the nose crease there, because as you know, I really struggle to keep foundation on my nose at all. And then my forehead. This is going on a lot easier doing it this way, I will admit. It's looking much smoother. Now you know I don't use eye primer. I just carry my foundation and my concealer across my eye, and even though I've got quite oily eyelids, that generally will hold my eyeshadow all day without creasing, unless I'm using a particularly cheap eyeshadow. Or a creamy one. Creamy ones do tend to crease, obviously, still, and some glitters do as well. So there we go. That's one layer, and you can see I've only actually used about one pump full. I don't know whether I want to build it up or not. And I think actually I might leave it at that. I might put a little bit more just up here where I get that that birthmark. They call it like a tea bag staining, because it looks as if you've, you know, if you sort of like leave a tea bag on the worktop, or if you've got someone who leaves tea bags on worktops. Thankfully, my husband doesn't, and it leaves like that sort of tannin stain. That's what this birthmark looks like. So it is just known as tea bag staining. I might add just a wee bit of extra coverage just on the top of my cheeks there. Because they're looking a bit pink today. Yeah, I much prefer using this brush and going completely against their advice and twirling it in rather than stippling it in. On my skin at least, it works better this way, or at least it seems to. What do you think? Right, I like that. So, I'm going to pause you again. I will come back very briefly again with yet another more colourful look, second one for this video, This is going to be a longer video than before. Sorry for all the rustling, I'm just getting a face wipe out to clean my brush, because you know I always clean them. I've probably already said this on the first half of this video. So, again, I will attempt to get the 2 check-ins for you, but as I said, I do have to go out, so I can't guarantee the first check-in, but I will definitely do the evening one. And we'll see how it copes this time with a thinner layer, which still gives medium coverage, which is fine for me. I'm not really a full coverage girl anymore. I used to be, but I prefer a more medium natural coverage now. So there we go. One nice clean brush, ready to start again tomorrow. Right, so I will be back very shortly, for you anyway, with a colourful face. I'm back, as you can see, a lot more colourful. Trying out the mini chocolate orange palette today. In terms of everything else I've got on my face, I set my face with the brightening powder from AOA that I got from shop Miss A. I'm using the Winky Lux Coffee Bronzer, the Life's a Peach L'Oreal blusher. I used my Catrice concealer. Again, used a little mini sample of the Goof Proof Brow Pencil. I've just shown you the eyeshadow, and the highlighter is the first of the collaborations between Jeffree and Manny, because it's still got this design on it. It's Eclipse, whereas Uranus has got that, because obviously Black Moon Cosmetics threw their toys out the pram. Anyway, that's a completely different subject. As you can see, I mean, this foundation's been on for about 45 minutes now, so everything as before, blended absolutely fine over the top of it. So I will see you at the next check-in. Don't go anywhere now. Hey, welcome back to the first check-in. This has been on for just over the 5 hours now, so let's have a zoom in and see how it's doing today. A bit closer, there we go. You can see it has settled a little bit in that line there and that one. Still looking quite hydrated under my eyes though, so that's a good sign. Splitting a bit around my nose there, but then my foundation always does. I've been rubbing my nose quite a bit like this today because of hay fever, so I'm impressed that there's still foundation still left there. Still on my chin. Settling a bit in my smile lines, but nothing too bad. Eyeshadow still looks good, so let's zoom you back out again. Okay, so having applied it with this brush and swirling rather than stippling as I was advised by the box, I actually prefer this way this looks on my skin. So we will see how it goes again with the next check-in. What I might try is I might try mixing this next time with one of my dewy foundations, like the L'Oreal Pro Glow or the Maybelline Dewy and Smooth, or possibly the Too Faced Peach Perfect. I might try like one pump of that, one pump of the dewy, mix them together and see how that goes. But so far, as you can see, I got hot, so I stuck my hair up in a ponytail, but I kept the pretty headband on because it's pretty. But yeah, so far I'm pretty impressed. Lots of pretties. Pretty impressed with this today. So I've got another few hours before I come and chat to you again. But for you, it's instant. Hey, welcome back to the final check-in. Diddle down, diddle down. Okay, this has been on just over 10.5 hours now, so I'm gonna zoom in and we can see what's doing. When I was out earlier, I had a really, really bad pain moment, and my face sweat a lot, even with this on. So, yeah, let's zoom in. As you can see where I sweat because it's just completely taken all of the foundation off of there. And this here's what's left is quite patchy now. It's now looking really quite crispy under my eyes. Pretty much come off of my nose there now, but as I said, I have been doing that a lot with hay fever. Pretty much all off of my chin now as well. Yeah, not great. Let's zoom back out again. So, what do I think of this? Undecided. Okay, it doesn't look too crash hot at the moment, but then I had a very, very bad moment, and I don't think I've got any foundations that would have coped with the level of pain and the amount of sweat my face was producing, to not to put too fine a point on things. I am going to try mixing it with some other foundations because I do like how it feels. It dries down to almost like a powder even before I'd set it out. And obviously, when I had that pain moment, literally all I did was blot the sweat off. I haven't used any blotting paper to soak any oils up. Although obviously some of the oil could have been taken up with the sweat, I don't know. I mean, from a distance, it's still passable. But if you come and have a chat with me, you're going to see the state of it. I like the foundation. It's a bugger to get on in the first place. I'm not going to lie about that. But then, you know, once you've figured out the best way to get it onto your skin, you know, I like how it looks. But I think I'm going to try mixing it with one of my dewier foundations and just see how it copes. I've got 3 different foundations that I want to test it with. One of them is the Too Faced Peach Perfect. One of them is the L'Oreal Pro Glow. And one of them is a Maybelline Dewy and Smooth, because I'm hoping that by mixing some of the dewier foundation in, it will go on better and won't settle into these fine lines quite so quickly. But hopefully this will give the dewier foundations a little bit more staying power. So, for once, this is an undecided result as opposed to a yes or a no, because I still need to play with the foundation really and find out. So, that is my little bit more extended than usual foundation reviews, so I hope you found this helpful. If you did, click that like button, comment, share, subscribe. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell, and then you get notified every time I upload another one of these videos. So as always, it's the end of my day, so I'm going to say that wherever you are in the world, whatever time zone you're watching, whatever time of day you're watching, I hope your day is or was fabulous. See you again soon. Bye for now.